What is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. And in today's video I'm going to be talking about the future of sampling and in particular stem separation. So if you're not familiar with stem separation, don't worry, I'll explain it now. Essentially, imagine you have a piece of music digitally, so you'll be able to see the waveform, etc. Inside that track you've got drums, bass, vocals and all the melodic instruments as well. Now imagine that there's technology that can split those things into individual tracks so that you can make use of them completely separately to one another. So for example, you can extract the drums out and then sample those and use those in your beat. You could extract the vocals and use those over your beats. You could just use it to take the drums out of the equation so that you can have a melodic sample that you can put your own drums over. There's loads of different possibilities with it, and it is quite an exciting piece of technology which I think is going to be really disruptive in the beat making community over the next couple of months. So my first experience with stem separation was actually quite a while ago. This technology isn't necessarily that new. It's being adopted quite aggressively now, but it has actually been around for quite a while. So I purchased a plugin called iZotope RX7, and the reason that I bought this was for treatment on my vocals for videos like this. So it's got loads of powerful algorithms in there. It can take little mouth clicks out. It can take breath noises out, all those kinds of things. But hidden inside it was a little feature called Music Enhancement. And what this enabled me to do was completely reduce and take out certain parts of tracks if I dropped a WAV file into it or an MP3, for example. So I'll drop a little example in now. It's really interesting to see what it can do. So there you could see how powerful that is. I was able to completely drop the percussions out of that track, and then I could chop that up and add my own drums over the top and not have to worry about clashing drum sounds. So that's really exciting to me. That's just one way that it can be used, and I think that's really, really cool. And yeah, to think that I've had access to this for quite a long time and not really made use of it, it feels like a bit of a shame, but the workflow for me didn't really work too well because obviously I'm quite a hardware orientated beat maker. I like to use separate devices from my computer to make beats for the majority of my beat making. So the workflow of taking a sample, moving it to my computer, running it through RX7, moving it back from my computer to my sampling device or beat making device, doing all that even before I've even started making the beat is a lot of work. It was just a bit of a cumbersome workflow really. It didn't really integrate that well, so I never ended up really adopting it. I always planned to do a video about that because I thought it was really interesting, but I just never got around to it in the end. So yeah, I've had that technology available to me for quite a while. I could have been one of the early adopters, but it just never really happened in the end. So although the technology has been around for a little while, there has been an announcement very recently by Akai, and they have confirmed that this technology will be coming to the MPC platform. So I think this is huge, and I think it really is going to change the overall landscape of beat making once this is dropped. All of a sudden, this technology is going to be in the hands of thousands and thousands of beat makers, and I think eventually this is going to become part of everyday beat making. It's going to be integrated into a lot of people's workflows. There isn't any indication whether this is going to come with a free update or whether it's going to be a purchasable plugin, but either way, there's going to be a lot of people that are all of a sudden going to have access to this. And for that reason, I just genuinely believe that this could be the future of beat making, and it could change things up massively. So we'll have to wait and see the impact of it, but the fact that MPC are introducing this natively basically to their platform, I think that's a huge step, and it's going to be the next big thing in beat making. We can see here as well that the integration inside the MPC looks fairly easy and nice as well, which is always a positive thing. There is a bit of processing that needs to be done on a sample, but then you can see here from this diagram that there's just dials for the separate stems, and you're able to very easily remove whichever ones you want using those series of dials in the program edit area. So it's a super simple integration as well. So I am actually really looking forward to giving it a go, and I think it's going to definitely get me spending more time back on my MPC Live 2 again, because I don't really use that device all that much, unfortunately, but I think this will be something that can definitely bring me back to the platform. So I'm actually looking forward to spending a little bit more time with my Live 2 once this drops as well. So I want to put this question to you guys. What are your thoughts on stem separation in beat making? I'll just share my thoughts. I'm really in two minds about it. I do feel excited about it, and I do think it's going to be very disruptive in the beatmaking community, but at the same time, I do think it takes some of the artistry away from chopping and sampling. When we're chopping and sampling, we're looking for those isolated parts in tracks. We're looking for drum loops on their own at the start of tracks. We're looking for those parts in tracks which don't have drums that we can sample and chop up and use as our melodic samples. So to be able to kind of cheat that is a bit of a shame, and I do think it takes away some of the skill involved with sampling. But on the other hand, I mean, I can see the possibilities with this, and they're going to be so interesting, and it's going to be really interesting to see a lot of people adopt this very suddenly and see what effect that has on the beatmaking community and the kind of output that beatmakers are sharing. I think there's going to be a huge rise in remixes. I know there's already a lot of people that kind of grab vocal-only tracks from YouTube or streaming services and throw those over their beats, but I think this is going to really change the course of remixing, and we're going to see a big rise in that. So that will be exciting, and you know, I'm definitely going to end up using this technology. There's no two ways about it. The fact that I can completely separate drums out of a track, chop those up and use them on my own beats is exciting. The fact that I can drop out the drums from a track and then essentially have a melodic sample with no drums, to me that's one of the biggest features which I'm really excited about. So I'm really in two minds, because I can see that it could be quite a destructive thing for the community and the artistry of sampling, but at the same time there's no way I'm not going to be using it. So it really is a bit of a double-edged sword. But yeah, please leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about stem separation. Is it something that you would use? Is it something you necessarily agree with? Or do you think it's a bit of a cheat code for beat making? I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts on that. So yeah, drop your thoughts below and I'll try and read as many of those as possible. So that's it for this one, guys. Something a bit different today. I just wanted to talk about that because I think it's quite an interesting era in beat making with this coming to the MPC platform. Thank you again to all my members for supporting me monthly. Thank you to all of those that are making purchases in my shop. It really does keep me going here, guys. So check out all the links in the description and keep me doing what I'm doing here. I'll be back with more content very soon.